Hello there, recreators, and welcome to our second episode of Tullahoma Parks and Recreation TV. Today we're going to discuss the first principle of Leave No Trace, which is think and plan ahead. There's another verbiage for it also called plan ahead and prepare. Here in a moment we're going to review the hand signals for all 7 principles, and then we're going to dig into principle number 1. This is part of our Go Take a Hike program. If we can't bring you to the outdoors, we're going to bring the outdoors to you. So we hope you'll enjoy the rest of this series and today's show. We're going to open it with a quote from John Muir. He is a famous naturalist, and his quote says, "Wilderness is a necessity, a fountain of life. Thousands of tired, nerve-shaken, over-civilized people who are beginning to find out that going to the mountain is going home. That the wilderness is a necessity. That mountain parks and reservations are useful not only as fountains of timber and irrigating rivers, but as fountains of life." That's the whole point of us doing this program for you. We want you to enjoy the outdoors safely and have a good time on your trip for all of your party and you and your family. So let's review those 7 principles and their hand symbols that go with it. Principle number 1. Think and plan ahead. Principle number 2, travel and camp on durable surfaces. Principle number 3, your shovel, dispose of waste properly. Principle number 4, 4 fingers, leave what you find, take only pictures. Principle number 5, minimize campfire impact. Principle number 6, respect wildlife. You gotta make your antlers for this one. This is the best part. And principle number 7, be considerate to other visitors. 2 fingers on this hand, 5 on this, number 7. Let's go through them one more time. How many did you get right? We'll try it again in another episode too. Proper trip planning and preparation helps backcountry travelers accomplish trip goals safely while minimizing damage to the land and having fun. Poor planning often results in miserable campers and damage to natural and cultural resources. Rangers often tell stories of campers they have encountered who, because of poor planning and unexpected conditions, degrade backcountry resources and can put themselves at risk. Here are a few incentives for trip planning you may want to add to this list. Proper planning helps ensure the safety of groups and individuals and reduces the likelihood of needed search or rescue assistance. Planning prepares the users for the out of doors to leave no trace and minimize resource damage. Good planning contributes to a fun and enjoyable outdoor experience and increases self-confidence and opportunities for learning more about nature. When a group neglects the responsibility of proper trip planning, it leaves the door wide open for events to go awry. A group that is experienced and familiar with geographical characteristics of an area can avoid these risks by steering clear of areas susceptible to flash floods or along ridge tops vulnerable to lightning activity or extreme weather events. Experienced groups will always carry an adequate supply of drinking water or arrange for a way to purify water from natural sources they find along the trail. Proper planning also means checking with local land managers and agencies and study the maps and the information at the kiosks. Most times they will post rules. It's always good to know those before you step foot on the property. The old adage, know before you go, is very important to leave no trace. A well-prepared group might plan to cook meals on stoves, or if using a campfire, we'll find out in advance when and where fires are allowed. Stoves are preferred over campfires because they leave no impact, and they can be used in different environments, and they're convenient. This group would also not discover on arrival at their destination that a fire ban was in effect. Poorly prepared groups often build a fire anyway, breaking the law and possibly spoiling the land, simply because they didn't prepare. A group on a well-planned trip will be able to travel as fast as it expected. This group will not be caught off guard because of steep terrain or trails that are too rugged. However, an unprepared group will often resort to setting up camp late at night, sometimes in unsafe locations. Poor campsite selection usually leads to unnecessary resource damage, as well as could cause injury. In addition, the group may never arrive at their planned destination. Proper planning is all about risk mitigation when you're planning an outdoor trip. So let's take a look at 8 elements you should consider when you're making your plans. The first element to consider is identifying and recording the goals of your trip. Then you need to identify the skills and abilities of the participants who are going. Next, you'll select destinations that match those goals, those skills, and abilities. Next, seek out information about the area your group plans to visit. Check with local land managers and managing agencies, and make sure you know the rules of the area before you show up. Remember, know before you go. Next, you'll want to check on weather patterns for the area and temperature ranges of the time that you're expected to be there. Check local forecast all the way up until the day that you leave. Adjust your plans if necessary, considering the knowledge and experience you gained from watching those weather channels. Next, you'll want to choose your equipment and clothing for comfort and safety. Remember to follow Leave No Trace, and remember the 10 essentials from our first video. Make sure you have them with you. Wood tools are not necessarily needed for preparing a Leave No Trace fire. Downed and dead wood is gathered from the ground and broken up by hand to make any fires necessary. Finally, evaluate your trip. Make sure you record your successes and failures so that way you can learn for next time. Nothing ruins a trip faster than showing up and not knowing that it was closed. Well, that's it for today's episode on principle number 1, think and plan ahead. We hope that you've enjoyed it. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to hear how you're enjoying the program so far. Until then, be safe, enjoy the outdoors, and we'll see you next time.